Okay, how's everybody doing tonight? Gonna get started here. A couple of things that I want to go over. First off, you probably have been at the website as far as signing up here at this point. We're gonna be talking about a lot going on aligned with your offices. The book that I had written, I had entitled "The Bone Crusher," as a chiropractor's guide to crushing your competition online. And then I'm going to be going over a lot as far as just online marketing. Before I get started with that, just I've got my studio going here, and I didn't get all of the green screen stuff going, but I'll be able to go back and forth between a bunch of different shots. I'll actually be able to show you a lot of different things on specific websites, and we'll do the best that we can. We've got a thunderstorm going on out there, and I had lost the connection once. If I do, I should be able to be back within a matter of 1 or 2 minutes, and it shouldn't be too big of a deal if you're able to stay on. And this will be recorded, and you'll be able to watch back as well if need be. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. There is a little bit of a lag time. You won't notice it. You guys will actually be getting this about 20 or 30 seconds after I've spoken or gone through some of these things. So first off, what we're going to be talking about is really has a lot to do with why you became a doctor in the first place. I want to help you guys to free up as much of your time as possible to just spend it treating your patients. I remember when I was in school, and obviously afterwards as well, your biggest focus is the people that are coming in your office, and especially when you're in school, you don't really think quite as much about how much time you're going to be spending on running a business. You'll hear people every once in a while saying, yeah, I want to start my own business. I'd like to be able to have my own hours and do what I want. And for any of the chiropractors that are listening, you can kind of laugh, or any business owner for that matter, because owning your own business doesn't mean that you're freeing up a whole lot of time. But hopefully, some of what I'll be going over will help you free up as much time as you possibly can so that you can spend as much of that time as you can actually treating your patients. Um, so we covered that here already. So when we're talking about online marketing and marketing in general, trying to build our offices, there's a few things. One, I've wasted money in every possible way that you can. About $6,000 on radio ads. It didn't bring in one single person. Even in that situation, I had gotten in front of this major company, big other companies that were there for a big presentation, and make it sound like you've got hundreds of thousands of people that are going to hear your message, but finding out the hard way that you're advertising and spending those dollars on people that really don't care. They're not in the market. They're not actually turning on the radio hoping that they're going to be able to hear a chiropractic commercial and hoping that they're going to, find the exact person that they're looking for. And the same thing with the TV or the newspaper. People open up the newspaper to read the newspaper. They're not looking for a chiropractic ad. So you're actually spending an incredible amount of money marketing to probably tens or hundreds of thousands of people that just really aren't looking for you. And I think that that's one of the unique things about being able to master online marketing is that you're actually going to be able to take advantage of the people that are already looking for you. People are typing in, a chiropractor in Miami or chiropractor Las Vegas, a chiropractor in Los Angeles. And then you're going to have a bunch of web pages that come up as options, and if you're at the top of that page, then you're going to be right in front of the people that are actually looking for you. Those are the best marketing dollars that you could spend, and certainly not being wasted on a whole bunch of people that you're just not really going to draw much attention to. So, I also had spent quite a bit of money on a lot of equipment, both that I needed and a lot that I wanted for the type of office that I wanted. And what you come to find out very quickly when you look at everything is that when you spend 150 or $200,000 on your chiropractic education, that over the lifetime of your career, that's actually not going to be your biggest expense was your education. Between all of your overhead, between lights and your rent or mortgage, all of the toilet paper and supplies and equipment, and it just adds up, over and over and over again. You'll actually spend way more money on your business once you leave school, and a lot of students don't really realize that. They think that once that they finish school, that $200,000 diploma that they've got now is automatically going to guarantee them some success in practice, and that they're going to actually make a lot of money. And I never talked to a chiropractic student at this point that says that they've got the absolute best business education from their school, and they know that they're going to kick butt right from the start because of that business education. It's just the contrary. Typically, most students get out and they don't know very much at all. So we'll just take a look at some simple numbers based on what I was saying. If you've got a $1,000 to $5,000 a month for rent, we'll just say $1,000 a month, depending on where you're at. It could be a lot more than that. $12,000 a year. So for 30 years, we're talking $360,000 just for rent. And again, you add in all those other little things, it really can add up significantly. And then, this issue has come up a few times with some of my associates, especially early on when they're trying to get things running, or a lot of the students that I'm teaching around the country, they start thinking, when you add in the cost of health insurance and food and your own rent, not just the rent of your office, but rent for where you're going to be living or mortgage, you start paying for gas and your school loans and your malpractice insurance and your liability insurance, and it starts to add up real quickly, and it can be pretty overwhelming. And if you don't have patients coming in to be able to support that, that's why so many chiropractors do go out of business, or have to quit or find other employment, hopefully where they're trying to just get by. And I think that's a travesty that people coming out of school that care so much and they want to help people more than anything, and a lot of the finances are keeping them from being able to do that. So as we're going along here, Yellow Pages, radio, TV, pay-per-click can be incredibly expensive in the newspaper. Like I said, all of these areas you're going to be spending money trying to get to people that aren't really looking for you. Okay? Very, very expensive. And the other key is that when you're done paying for them, they don't work for you anymore. If you put an ad in a newspaper, it runs, and people are going to throw that newspaper out within probably a few days or a week or so. And that money is worthless to you. The money that's spent on online marketing, for the most part, except for pay-per-click, that money is going to actually last in a very long term for you. And if you're on the first page of Google in that very first position, if you know what you're doing, you're going to stay there, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money to actually be able to stay there. For a long-term investment, you'll be able to get those people that are looking for you all the time and not really have to be wasting money out of your budget. What we'll see as we're going through here is I've actually had the benefit of studying with some of the most incredible experts in the entire world when you're talking about search engine optimization, meaning trying to get your website to the #1 position on Google. And a lot of the people I've studied with are making millions of dollars a year doing what I have written in my book. I took a lot of what we learned and just condensed it. I made it a step-by-step process, and I created many videos that go step-by-step to show you everything that you need to do to be able to get not only to page 1, but to get to that #1 position. And it's actually a whole lot easier. When you know this stuff, the competition won't have a chance. That's actually why I use that logo, the Bone Crusher, because it's crushing to your competition. There's almost nothing they'd be able to do to outrank you when you're doing a lot of these things. It's not common knowledge. You'll easily spend $50,000 to $100,000 trying to learn a lot of this stuff on your own, and your competition is just not doing that. So knowing that information is really going to, and knowledge is power. We all know that. The more that you're going to learn, the more benefit that's going to be. And whether you want to do it on your own or you want to hire out certain pieces of your online marketing, at least you're in control of it. The thing that I would hate the most, and this is, I've done this before, I talk about it a little bit later, is that I had spent probably $20,000. This woman had a network of about 700 websites, and on a monthly basis, we would create more links from her 700 websites pointing back to one of my websites. And all of those links, it's called link juice, that powers your website higher and higher in the search engine rankings. And because it wasn't done properly, the woman kind of got her hand slapped by Google and basically de-indexed all 700 of her websites, which means all of that money that I put into everything, that's $20,000 down the tubes, and my rankings don't go down the tubes as well because I don't have those, thousands and thousands of links that I had previously. I'm going to show you very step by step how you can avoid things like that when you own all of your links, or at least you have control over all of them, and you never have to worry about hiring out certain services and losing some of that control. Very important there. Yeah, certainly doing your own lectures. I talk about this quite a bit at all the applied kinesiology seminars and nutrition seminars that I teach around the country. Is, hands down, I think it's one of the best possible things to build your office is to be in front of people and lecturing. You get 10, 20, 30 people at a time. Sometimes you might have a big event. You might have a couple hundred. When you can show your expertise and your passion, it comes across, and that'll be a big draw for people. But it's time consuming. You're going to have to take time away from your office a lot of times as far as polishing a lot of your work that you're going to be discussing, calls, setting things up, hopefully, people showing up. There's just a lot involved with that, and it's not really something that we consider on autopilot. It's something that you're constantly working on. So, word of mouth advertising. Everybody wants word of mouth advertising. You help somebody out, and they go tell everybody that they know. And I would agree that that's probably one of the ways that's the best to build your office. It's something that you can't necessarily count on. It's something that you can't necessarily have a lot of control over either. I've had situations where patients that were helped significantly go out, they tell people, and some of those people might come in 3 or 4 or 5 years later. Just things, life circumstances, they just weren't in a place to move forward with that. So you get out of school and you help a couple of people and you end up getting some referrals that might take a few years. That's not going to help you build your practice now and on a very, very consistent basis. Even though it's an incredible, so those are going to be some of your absolute best patients. There's no question about that. But that's not necessarily going to be what builds it on day one when you're starting from scratch. Okay. So we covered that here. So let's be conservative for a minute. Let's say that you invested $3,000 a year for your advertising budget. Kind of sounds like a lot, but in the advertising world, especially for the doctors that are out there, you know that spending $3,000 doesn't really go very far. All right, but if you multiply that times 30 years, you got another $90,000 just towards advertising and marketing, whether it's online stuff, newspapers, radio, business cards, all that kind of stuff. Being out in the community, it certainly can add up quite quickly. All right. So, in my opinion, the best option that you have is to actually build an online empire. And I'll discuss a little bit about what that means. I go into a lot of depth in the book, but it comes down to being able to not only be on page 1 of Google, but it means taking, there's 10 spaces that show up, 10 websites that'll come up when you type in something for Google on page 1. And I'm talking about taking over all 10 of them. You might have your website, your home page, another page on there. You might have a few of your social media pages, your Facebook page, your Pinterest page, your Google Plus page, maybe a video or two. That certainly will go quite a long way when you can start overtaking your competition in that type of a way. And it's an empire that you own, and nobody else really has control over that but you. And that's a very safe place to be. And most of this is an upfront cost to you, and it lasts you for the rest of your career. And I can't stress that enough of how important an investment is like that that will pay you back for such a long period of time afterwards. So the oversimplified version, obviously you want to own your own website, whether it's something that you host on your own or you have me host for you. These days being online is almost necessary. You want to build your website like a fortress. Um, there's so many websites out there that are just absolute garbage as far as the way that they were programmed and the way that they're set up. And Google doesn't like that. Google likes a website that's incredibly user friendly to their users, and it allows them to find the information that they're looking for. And they're just almost every single chiropractic website company that I've looked at, they just fail miserably in this department. And I'll show a little bit about what I mean in a little while. You want to own or have control over all of your links going back to your website so that they're not taken down, like I had mentioned. Know how to build this empire and sustain it on your own, or at least be able to hire out certain pieces of it and then completely take over, blanket page one of Google. That'll go a really long way for you with your online marketing efforts. Or, like I said, you can hire some things out. You're going to save a lot of money. You're going to control your results, absolutely crush your competition online. And that's where I came up with this little logo here, breaking out the bone crusher. Because, like I said, there's not anybody, when you know this information, there's nobody that's going to be able to compete with you, especially on that local level. Certainly, if you wanted to on a national level for certain things, all of the same information applies. It's just going to be multiplied exponentially as far as the effort that you're putting in and a lot of the expenses that are going to go to being able to do that. So anyway, that was a fun logo to put together. So then, the best part of this, like I had mentioned, is that when you're in the first position, you're in front of the exact audience that's already looking for you, and you're the first person that they see. They will end up on your website. And when it's built properly, they find the information that they're looking for, and it looks appealing to them. They'll take that step forward, and you're going to look like, just from being on the top of Google, you're automatically an authority, and there's a level of trust there just from the get-go, and that's really important from the patient's point of view. And this is just a really good point, I think, is that why bother even having a website if people can't find you on page one? All right, it almost seems pointless because almost nobody goes to page 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to be able to find anything. All right, if you're not on page 1, then why are we even having a website to begin with? We need to be able to have that website on page 1, hopefully at the top of page 1, and take advantage of the expenses that you're putting in. Because otherwise, it's just something that's sitting out there on cyberspace and it's not working for you. You're spending $50 to $100 a month or more just to sit there and really not generate income and revenue and new patients for yourself. So for a long time, this starts getting into why I decided to do this. I'm in full-time practice. I teach all over the country. Why would I go ahead and do something like this? Well, a couple years back, I was for years paying $100 a month for a website from a chiropractic website company, and I actually had two of them because I had one for my seminars as well. So I was paying $200 a month. And what I came to find out was that I was way, way, way overpaying for what I was getting. It looks real flashy, and there was a lot of neat little things about it on the surface, but when you actually break it apart, you realize that you're actually shooting yourself in the foot in a lot of ways with the way that these new websites are built. And I'll show you a little bit about what I mean and how they're built when I go to some examples for you on a few live web pages. Um, but I didn't know, and most people wouldn't know if you don't know what to look for with spending this kind of money. They maybe have some spinning person on there, and they think that it's this really cool, flashy looking thing, and it's probably more annoying to most people than anything else. Or they end up upcharging you for every possible thing that you can on a website, and it frustrates me more than anything when chiropractors are taken advantage of because they went to school and their passion is geared towards helping people. It's not necessarily building this business and knowing or being extremely tech savvy and know how to do all of those other things. And chiropractors are definitely taken advantage of in that area. And I came to find that out, and I'll show you some of what I mean as we're going. Like I said, very, very frustrating. So, like I said, we're going to break out the bone crusher on the competition, and you'll be in control and save a ton of money. Um, I want you to be able to spend the time treating your patients that you choose to treat, and then be able to go home and enjoy the rest of your life doing what you need to, instead of putting in hours till midnight or 1 in the morning doing all of the other things to run a business. Okay, so a chiropractic website company, they all basically have some of the same options. They've got themes or the basic design to look for or to be able to choose from. There's some support, there's some level of search engine optimization services, there's video training, you've got bandwidth, which means the amount of information that's passing back and forth from a website. You've got typically a certain amount that you can use. There's a certain amount of memory or space that you have to use, the speed of the website, emails, your logo, banner design, a bunch of other services, hosting. There's membership capabilities on some websites so that you can have free members or even paid for members. You can sell things online, but a lot of times several of these options have major upcharges associated with each of them. And I didn't like that. It frustrates me as a chiropractor, and I have every possible upgrade is just included with all the websites that I put out there, which I think is very unique from the get-go. And we absolutely can blow some of these things away. All right. So the next question should be, what does set us so far above and beyond the rest of the competition that's out there? I'll try to go through some of these because this is actually very important. One is that we have unique C-class IP addresses. This is basically where the address that your website is located. Most chiropractic website companies have a hosting scenario set up where the IP addresses are almost identical in a lot of ways, and Google almost sees that as, oh, hey, take a look, there's all these websites and they live in one development. And Google kind of looks at that as, well, that's kind of all the same gist, it's all the same kind of a thing going on there, and they don't look like unique websites a lot to Google. Another thing that is just one of the worst things you could possibly do is a lot of these websites try to make it as easy as you can for yourself. I'm just going to switch this over here for a second. They try to make it as easy as possible. They want it to look really flashy and simple, meaning I'm going to put up maybe 200 or 300 pages for you, and you're going to have articles about headaches and back pain and sprained ankles and migraines and all of these other types of articles, and you're going to have hundreds of them. You don't even have to think twice about it. They'll punch a button, it'll all be up there, and it makes you look like an authority. Well, the number one thing that Google hates more than anything is duplicated content. And guess what? You've got thousands and thousands of chiropractors who buy these websites from these companies that all have the exact same articles on them. Why would Google want to rank a website with a specific article that might be up there when there's 10,000 other chiropractors that have the exact same article. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't set you apart. They want unique information and high quality information going to their consumers. There's automatically a wall in your way for being able to rank when something like that takes place. And I'd have zero duplicate content on any of the websites that we're going to do. And I actually strongly urge either to hire somebody out or to write a lot of your own content. That'll be one thing that'll help set your website apart and help you rank a little bit better in the search engine rankings. So that's definitely something that's very important to take a look at there. So you want to make sure that the structure of your website doesn't bleed all of your link juice. So I'm going to just switch here and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let me pull this up here for a second. So I pulled up this one website. I think I typed in chiropractor Miami. So I went to page 2. And my point being that they're not on page 1. And what's something simple that could help them? And this has to do with link juice. If you take a look here, there's a menu bar and there's a lot of drop downs. These drop downs here are one of the worst things you could do for the structure of your website. This is what we call bleeding your link juice. So all of those links that you've worked for, that you've paid money for to actually rank your website, and it gets dispersed in bleeding your link juice all over the place and by having these drop down menus. And there's even drop down menus off of the drop down menus. All right, this is, if we changed only the structure of this website, it'd probably be very easy to get it on page 1 just because of something that simple. We actually would create something called a silo, and I'm not going to get into that at this point. I go into a lot more depth both in the book and every single one of the websites that I create with you guys when I'm hosting for you. They're all siloed properly. You're not bleeding link juice, and when you build it and with a structure like that, your competition is going to be struggling to be able to stay up with you. So very important there. So what else here? Like I said, search engine optimization services is done and learned from the masters of SEO. I mean, these people, just one project that of one of the guys that I've been studying from, he's making roughly $125,000 a month, and he hasn't had to look at it in the last couple of years. It just, that money just ends up in his bank account every single month, and never has to touch it anymore. These people are absolute geniuses. They know what they're doing, and it's not overly complicated. You don't need a NASA education to be able to understand it. If you can just follow a step-by-step procedure and watch me actually do it in front of you on the videos in the book, then you'll have no trouble whatsoever being able to do that. Let's see what else here. Okay, so another thing that sets us apart is that I'm a diplomate both in applied kinesiology and in nutrition, and one of the things that I've done for my students is we've got the 100-hour certification course in applied kinesiology, and I'm a big fan of repetition for being able to master the material that you're going to be working on your patients with. And it's really hard to get some repetition of 100 hours of information. And what I did was I took that 100-hour course and I knocked it down to the bare bones, the core information and all of the different techniques that are there. And I basically condensed it down into about 2.5 hours. And I have it all on video. And that's all. Anybody that I'm hosting your website for, that's just included. I've created a huge member section for the people that both have the book. They've got their own videos and area, and people that I'm hosting the websites for, there's an absolutely huge area there that one, it has all of that applied kinesiology information in there, a lot of seminar material. I also had written another 100-hour course that had counted both towards the applied kinesiology hours, towards the diplomate, and towards the nutrition diplomate. And that course I had recorded online and I've recorded on video. All of the first session, the 12 hours of session 1, is all already online, and I'll be putting up in the near future all of the rest of the sessions and the audio. You'll be able to download the audio and listen to it on your iPod or your iPad when you're on the go, if you end up driving like I do. you'll be able to just feed your brain as much as possible and get a lot of good information that way. And I also included all of my information as far as practice management is concerned. I have all of my paperwork on there, intake paperwork, all of the different forms that I use, all of the things that I've learned about practice management and tracking and running an office. Yeah, I find it really frustrating when a student comes out of school and they're $200,000 in debt and they have all of these expenses now, all this equipment, they've got to advertise, they've got to build this office, and now they've also got to be spending money on a lot of other different things, including something like practice management. It starts sounding kind of interesting. Maybe you got to your first month and it wasn't as busy as you were hoping, and then your second month, and then you get this phone call that says, hey, you know what, we're going to show you how to build an office where you're seeing hundreds, maybe thousands of patients a week. This is going to be the greatest thing. We've been around forever. We know what we're doing. It only costs about $10,000 a year. It's just like, man, what a blow when you've already got all this debt and all this overhead to even fathom spending another $10,000 over the course of this next year, maybe even in a contract for 2 or 3 years to build your office. I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to offer better websites than any other chiropractic website company offers, and I do that hands down. It's just a landslide as far as the differences. I also wanted to include things that you could take and work with in your offices that's actually going to make you money, that you will actually help more patients learning both the nutrition and the hands-on technique things that I teach you. You can get a lot of repetition that way. You could take any one of 1,000 different techniques that I go over and build a practice on it and help more people than you could possibly imagine, versus the information that you get more or less just coming out of school. It'll make a huge difference for you. You add all that together for lower price than almost every one of the other chiropractic website companies even has in the first place, and then you add in all the other practice management things. It's just, I wanted to add more value than anything else. I'm sick of watching chiropractors being taken advantage of, and that's my passion in life, is to help people. The more that I can help all the other doctors that I teach, and now with a lot of the websites and being able to be found online that much easier, that means I can play a little bit more of a role in helping you build your offices, meaning I'm touching more lives. It's expanding, and I really like that. That's one of the reasons that I decided to do this. So, I've got Skype-based office hours. I've got a lot of one-on-one coaching. So let's say that you don't even want to have me do a lot of search engine optimization work for you with my team. I can certainly, you buy the book. If you get stuck anywhere, we can maybe do a coaching session for an hour or two. I can help you through certain things, or if you've got something that's unique to you, we can certainly do that. And then you're just completely in control. And I think that that's a very good place to be in business, is to have control. So here's kind of a picture of the book here. The book itself is actually going to be online for you. You'll be able to download it, and you'll be able to read everything. There's a lot of links that will link to certain areas of the book. There are links and pictures of videos that you'll be able to link and go to the actual web pages and watch all the videos that I created. So it's definitely something to strongly consider there. You take $100,000 of actual spent money and condense it down into this book. The cost of the book is kind of inconsequential for what it's going to do to help you. One more thing that sets us far and above the rest is, we again said about the hundreds of pages of duplicate regurgitated content. It's search engine optimization suicide. It's not going to help you in ranking your website. So that's definitely a very important thing there. Another bonus that I have that no other chiropractic website company has is what we call affiliate marketing. It's kind of a fancy way of helping with word of mouth advertising. When you sign up for the book, when you sign up and even get a free membership, which a lot of you have already done, you're going to have access to your own members area. And when you go to your own account, you're going to have a link, and that's called your affiliate link. If you hand that link out, you email it, you put it on Facebook, you send it to your friend, your family, your peers, people that you know. Anytime they click on that link, they're going to be brought to my webpage. When they come to the page and they purchase any of the services, you get a kickback for that. Just take, for example, the websites. You have somebody that buys a website. Right now, the affiliate program's starting out where somebody gets a website, you get $5 for them signing up for the website, but it's not just $5. It's $5 for every single month that they continue with the service, which means that it adds up over the course of time. You get a handful of people, you don't ever have to pay for your website again. So you can actually start getting a little bit of a residual income that comes in month after month. You pick up an extra $50, $100, $150 a month that you don't even have to think about. I think that's the best kind of money that there is you go to sleep and money ends up in your bank account. So it serves several purposes. You help spread the word as far as a really high quality service that really, again, there's no comparison as far as the value of everything that's included for the prices that I am offering these for. And then you get a kickback for yourself for your one-time trouble of sending out that link, and it pays you back for dividends for a very long period of time. There's not many other ways of being able to do something like that. So I think that's pretty unique and something that we can certainly take advantage of. Right. So there's no other company, chiropractic website company for that matter, that offers a simple solution that you basically could end up getting your websites for free. At least none that I'm aware of. So that's a big deal there, I think. Last but not least, we have our student prices. There's a different pricing for both students and doctors. Let me I'll just switch over here for a second. The main website here. It looks a little bit different when you'll go to it the first time. I'm already logged on here, so that'll actually look a little bit cleaner. So you scroll down just a little bit. There's three main options. First one starting off is we've got the student website, so the student prices. We've got the book itself that can be purchased, and then websites for chiropractors. So right now we're talking about the websites for students. I think that because I've made it so cost effective that a student getting a website is one of the best ideas that you could ever do. And I'm talking, the day that you start chiropractic school or even before that, to buy your domain name and start getting that ready. Google rewards websites with age. If you graduate and then the next day you go ahead and buy a website, you're considered a newborn as far as internet marketing is concerned. And that doesn't help you rank. Now, if you could do it at the beginning of chiropractic school or somewhere along the way, and you've got 2 or 3 or 4 years worth of age, that's just another thing that works to your benefit as far as ranking. It'll give you plenty of time. Even if you wrote one article on a monthly basis while you're in school, and you might even end up writing the article as a studying process where you're just putting some details down, you're trying to teach people. That's one of the best ways to learn things is when you teach it in an easy to understand way. Patients love it. They're like, oh wow, that makes sense. Thank you for explaining it that way. There's tons of instances of that come up while you're in school. You put some of those into articles, you're slowly building a website, and by the way, that's another thing Google loves to see is websites that are big. The more pages, take something like Wikipedia. I don't even remember how many pages there are. There's thousands and thousands of, maybe even millions of pages. That's what we create something called domain authority. The more pages, the more content, Google looks at it as, wow, you must be an authority. We're going to actually reward you a little bit more for having such a big website. And it gives you the opportunity to start building that over time, and it's not duplicated content. When you started earlier. So I've got prices that any student can afford and needs to afford. And the unique thing is you could actually graduate and on day one already be at the first position on Google. You already have traffic coming to your website. You've already got patients ready to come in on day one. And you can take advantage of all these other things that I teach both in the book and the structure of the way that I set up the website with you. There's it'd be one of the smartest things that you could do. When you graduate school, here's another tidbit. I know that there's some students on here as well that when you graduate, one of the chiropractic table companies that I like to order from, it's my favorite table. When you place the order, it could take anywhere from 8 to 20 weeks before it ends up in your office. All right, and if you don't, you think, okay, when I graduate, I'm gonna go ahead and order my table, and you think that it's gonna be there the next week, maybe, you better start making some phone calls and see what kind of turnaround time some of these places have. Now, you might end up getting something used. You might end up, getting a good deal from somebody who's closing their office. But if you're getting a new table, you better call and see what their turnaround time is. You don't want to have to, graduate and turn around and they say, "Yep, we'll get you your table in about 4 months." I ordered one this past November, and it took roughly 4 months for it to be able to come in. For an associate that was coming into my office. And I knew this ahead of time, so we ordered it in advance. Just really, really important that you know some of these things. And in the practice management section, for people that I'm hosting the websites for, I covered dozens and dozens of little clinical or business pearls like that can really go a long way. And get 5,000 business cards for $50 delivered to your door, full color, both sides of your business card. I mean, there's just a lot of ways that you can save money and help to build your office. So I've got lots of little things like that to work along the way here. So, those student websites, I strongly, strongly recommend, for a lot of different reasons, to get that started as early as possible. It will make things much easier so that when you don't, here's another thing. All right, I gotta come back here for a second. You graduate. All right, and you're ready to start practice. You don't need to be spending dozens of hours trying to design a website, find out who you want to order from, find out, write all of these articles that could take you hundreds of hours, spending all this time and money and trying to figure all that out. And then you're trying to write a few lectures. By the way, I actually have written tons of lectures, and they're all in the member section for you to use on day one. I don't charge extra for that. I know of some practice management companies that'll charge you $300 to $500 just for, a short PowerPoint. And some of my you can obviously tailor all of the PowerPoints, and you can. Some of them are written to be upwards of 2 hours long. Obviously, that doesn't work in every situation. So you can shorten them out, take out what you don't need. But a lot of people come out of school and they're ready to go do a lecture, and then if you really want to polish it up and sound like an expert, that you could spend a lot of time working on a PowerPoint like that. And then you're out there meeting people in the community, and you're setting up your phone, and you're trying to get a reception desk and computers and your office software that runs your practice management and your scheduling. As far as scheduling, I'll show you on the website. There is my newest favorite option for people to be able to schedule. They can actually do it right on my website. And when I do this with everybody, both in the book and my customers that I'm hosting the website for, I get at least 2 to 3 patients a day telling me how much they love being able to go to my website, how easy it is that they can either schedule, reschedule, cancel, change any of their appointments on all 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's phenomenal. I love every second of it, and it frees up my receptionist to be doing a lot of other things, and I don't have to spend a lot of extra time answering phones, and it's so convenient for the patient. They love it. They don't want to have to call and hopefully talk to you, leave a message, get things answered. They could just pick whatever's easiest for them. So lots and lots of little things like that'll pay you major dividends as we're going here. So anyway, we will continue. The formula. So I'm a diplomate in applied kinesiology. A lot of people have a misunderstanding about what that means as far as what applied kinesiology actually is. A lot of people don't realize Dr. Goodhart was the first chiropractor ever to be on the Olympic Medical Board. And I promise you don't get a position like that if you're not helping tons and tons of patients and you're an incredible doctor. There are people that teach some weird, wild, crazy things, but that's not what Dr. Goodhart taught. When we teach what we've learned from the ICAK, It's grounded very significantly in science. And you've got some of the best doctors in the world: MDs, PhDs, chiropractors, nutritionists, all sorts of hands-on healers, acupuncturists. That a lot of their information is all brought into one place. We've got tons of medical doctors that are a part of applied kinesiology, and there's a lot of neat things, and that's why it's so incredible is that Dr. Goodhart learned from all these people and took some of the best of what they had to offer and put it under one umbrella. You have such a scenario here where now, instead following his footsteps in the healing world, I did that exact same thing when it came to online marketing and search engine optimization. I studied from the best of the best, people who are making millions of dollars a year. They don't, they just kind of roll their eyes. They just get a website to position one pretty easily because they just know what they're doing. It's not rocket science. It's just they know it and they make you pay for it if they're ever going to teach it to you. And I didn't want to have that happen either, which is why I condensed it and repackaged it for you guys so that you can learn it that way as well. So I'm also currently adjunct faculty at 2 chiropractic colleges. But my point here with that is that I don't do that. I don't get paid by the chiropractic colleges, and I'm not there specifically on campus all the time. Mostly that's so that students can come to my office and they can spend their last semester of school in my office treating with me side by side and being able to have that type of an environment to learn from. I don't get anything out of that. I don't get a paycheck from the chiropractic college, but my point is I'm here to help. I'm here to help students, here to help doctors to get the most out of their offices and their career and to help as many patients as possible. I hope that comes across well enough so that you understand that it's not something that just trying to be another one of those people taking advantage of the chiropractic profession. I'm trying to provide a great service that is very inexpensive, and it really makes a big difference so that you're not having to waste a lot of money. And trust me, I've done it, and it's frustrating to see how many different instances chiropractors are taking advantage of when it comes to those types of things. Okay. So let's see here. Let's get past a few things. You got a couple options with search engine optimization. If you got a really low budget, you learn some of this stuff on your own, and it's going to take more of your time. All right? That's really what it comes down to. If you've got a bigger budget, then you can use more of my time or use more of somebody else's time that you can hire pieces out. But you can do this on a very, very low budget when you know what you're doing. So you can really scale things to do whatever you need it to do. That's what this book is here for, so that you can learn step by step how to do every last bit of it. And I totally understand where using one of these other chiropractic website companies it sounds great that you have it all built for you. It's up sometimes within a few days to 2 or 3 weeks, and you've got all this content, and it's easy. But don't let easy get in the way of something that's going to shoot you in the foot for the rest of your career, because you're bleeding link juice. It's not built properly. It's all duplicated content. It doesn't have any age to it. It's just you've got IP addresses that are almost duplicated to every other website that they're hosting. It doesn't set you apart, and it's not going to help you rank, and that's not going to do anything for you from a business point of view. All right? Just a little extra effort is going to go a long way. All right, so some people are going to say, it's hard to do all on your own. It's a lot of work. I still do most of the work for you, getting your website up and running and all of the different functions that are going to be there. It's just at the same time, it takes a little bit extra time from somebody to write a little extra content, but I show you step by step what you can do, and I even put you in touch with people that if you want them to be writing articles for you, even as simple as $3 to $5 an article can go a really long way for getting some basic content on your website for you. But when it comes down to it, my guarantee is that there's no guarantee. All right. Just because you have a license to practice as a chiropractor, or I know there's a veterinarian, there's a medical doctor, at least a few that I know of that are on tonight. Um, it doesn't entitle you to be successful and make millions of dollars in practice. All right. School is just one small piece of the puzzle. What I want to do is to help give you the tools that you're going to need to be able to go above and beyond and give you the best possibility that you can to be successful. Now think about this just for a second. You have a scenario. Let me switch over to the other view here so you can see me. You have a scenario where 70% of all businesses go out of business within 5 years. All businesses. And 90% go out of business within 10 years. Okay, it's not just chiropractic offices. This is all businesses. Now think for a second, how many of those businesses are of people that started the business and they actually went to school? They have a degree in business administration or some degree in business along the way. All right, and still 90% of those people fail in business. All right, what does that mean for a chiropractor who has virtually no business education whatsoever coming out of school? They're in what would be considered crushing debt, and they have to spend even more money to get things up and running, get it started, and their business education is almost non-existent. I understand coming from it from a point of view of having a lot of passion. Without a doubt, passion can go a long way, but even with passion and the best business sense and business education in the world, a lot of people are going out of business. 90% of them. It's what the statistics show, and it happens year after year. And it's not something that's just some brand new statistic that all of a sudden has come out of the woodworks. This is for decades worth of information that people going out of business, and a lot of this is going to help you. All of the different pieces of the websites that I have to offer automate so many different parts of your business that allows you to. I spend literally 98% of my day in the treatment room just working on patients. I get to do what most people want to do when they come out of school, and I set that up for you guys to be able to have the same type of a scenario. So let's continue on here. There's just a little bit left, and a big bonus for you guys at the end here that we're coming up to. So you've got a few different options. Really, it comes down to, I think that it's incredibly beneficial for you to go ahead and buy the book, and for me to host your website for you. Ends up it'll save you tons of money and a lot of time, especially with all the extra things that I throw in with the websites. I give you the ability to have patients fill out your forms right online. Some of the software, if you were going to buy that on your own, would cost you between $200 and $500, depending on the different pieces of it that you would want. I just include that for you. So just that one little thing for your patients to be able to do all their paperwork on, and this is included for you, and there's no cost for updating it. There's and that's just one tiny piece. I can't even tell you the number of things that I just include for you that you don't have to pay extra for. And I wanted to offer that kind of value. I hate being nickel and dimed, and or even $100, $200, $300, $500 here, $1,000 there, as far as upgrades and upsells on things. So if I hate it that much, then I don't want to offer a service that does that over and over again for somebody else. Okay. You'll be able to spend, obviously when you free up a little bit more time like that and it's on autopilot, that you can spend more time with your family and doing the things that you want to. So like I said, you get the affiliate residual income, you get all of my office paperwork, the review videos in applied kinesiology and in nutrition. You become, and this is the two other things that I didn't mention here, was I created 2 different Facebook groups. And it's available to all the people that are, I host your website for you. One of them is the Applied Kinesiology Facebook group, where I've already got well over 100 students and doctors on there, and the purpose is so that you can send in your cases. Say, I've got a patient who's got XYZ, I'm having a hard time with it, or I need to think outside of the box. I'm kind of stuck on this patient, I could use a little bit of help. Well, you've got 100 of some of the best doctors from around the world. And that list is just constantly growing. I've got plenty of diplomates in acupuncture, diplomates in nutrition and applied kinesiology that all have been around the block. They've seen a lot of patients, and you could just ask questions, and they're all there in a community so that you can do that on a regular basis. That's part of what it's for. And then the other group is for chiropractic websites and search engine optimization for internet marketing. So people that buy the book, you've got access to that. So if you're stuck or you're really trying to figure something out, you've got a whole community of people, including myself. I'm on there all the time, so that I'll be able to offer whatever help that I can along the way, because that's largely just what I'm here for, is to try to help in whatever ways that I can. Alrighty, let's see. So basically, you're gonna, regardless one way or another, you're gonna be spending $50 to $100 a month on a website to have it done properly and to have it hosted. So why not, spend the $50 a month with me and get all of the other perks and bonuses and have it done for you? It just kind of makes sense. I already told you about where I spent and wasted a whole lot of money not having control over search engine optimization. So here's the simple thing. I've got some prices here as far as the book and the websites are concerned. So first I'll talk about the websites. The websites, if you actually follow this here, right up at the top, if you use this code, there's no space and it's all capitals, 3 days. For 3 days, I'm offering this coupon, and then it expires. It's $200 off of the setup fees, and then it's $50 a month, and it includes all of the different pieces. There's only a couple of things that if you wanted, not everybody's going to want it, but if there's a couple of things, there's other licenses that would need to be purchased. One would be if you want a mobile website, there's just a cost involved with that. So to set it up, it's an extra $15 a month to do that. There's what I consider to be the gold standard of software to run a membership website that can sell anything. They could have any number of tiers of membership, from free members to several different paid memberships. That's all just a license that needs to be purchased. So it's a one-time thing. It's not something you pay for, and I don't upcharge for this. This is the cost of the license. I'm not trying to make buku dollars on something like that. So that's available there, and like I said, it's $50 a month. You're going to spend it anyway, and look at all of the practice management, all of the seminar material that you get. And then the other coupon code here at the bottom is for the book. The book, it's a listed price currently is $497, and the coupon is going to be $100 off, and it's available over the next 3 days. You just use this code. It's all capitals, SEO 3 days. There's no spaces there. You put that in when you make the purchase, and you'll get $100 off. And even the $497 price it's just not going to stay there. I spent way too much money learning all of this stuff, and way too much time putting this together. Yeah, I've got my own studio here, obviously. It's professionally done. Obviously tonight I don't have my green screen going. I can show you a little bit of what some of the studio can do. If the green screen was up, you'd actually just see the set here. I'll do some other videos for you so you can see me sitting behind ESPN Studio. It's pretty neat. It's all first class, very easy to hear. I've got some of the best equipment that money can possibly buy, as far as the recording equipment, the microphones, the soundboards, so that it comes through crystal clear with all the videos for the book and things that I'll be adding. And when you buy the websites, just what I have on there right now, my goal moving forward is to spend 90% of my time creating more educational videos for you. Some on the business side, without a doubt, tons on the technique side. I've got tons of seminars, just covering blood work, covering other techniques in applied kinesiology, different things. I'm going to be adding to that on a very consistent basis, and there'll just be endless amount of information that you can be able to gather from there. And then, like I've got written here, for the first 100 copies of the book that are sold, if you don't get in within the next 3 days, It'll be that $497 price, and then it's going up to almost $800, and it'll be there for a while. So take advantage of it. It really is gonna be worth every single. I mean, we're talking about like one patient pays for this, and being on page one and being at the top of page one, over the course of the time in your career, there's no question that you're going to get more than one patient coming in as a result of being on page one and higher. So I mean, it's almost a joke as far as the cost is involved with that. Which is, I tell that to a lot of my students as well. They'll come in and I offer the 100-hour AK course cheaper than anybody else I think or that I know of, and because I want to be able to offer a value. I know that I want this information to get out to people because it's going to help you in practice. And when you're doing that, you learn the information from something like an AK course. One patient, a student price at $800, $850. You get one patient. It basically pay over the course of a year will pay for the entire course. And then think of the tens of thousands of patients that you'll help over the course of your career, knowing extra information, additional techniques, mastering some other things that you didn't learn in school. It pays you back dividends. There's just no real comparison with the cost. It looks like, oh man, wow, it's $850 for a class. Okay, but that's the cost of one patient coming into your office. You probably will even make more than that on one patient over the course of months and over a course of a year. And now you've got it for the rest of your career. It's kind of one of those no-brainer type of decisions that you can make there. So anyway, that more or less wraps up that part of it. I actually still want to show just a couple of things here. On the website itself. So we've got in here where you can purchase as a chiropractor the book that can be purchased in students. I already showed you that. If you haven't already joined as a free member, where I'll send out, you've got some member content videos on there, some newsletters. You still become an affiliate where you can send out that link. I mean, you could hypothetically just become a free member and give that link to all your classmates. And you could be getting residual income just from that alone, and you didn't even spend a dime. Let it work for itself, and then you can use that money to buy a website. And there's a lot of options. Then you can read a little bit more about some chiropractic websites and search engine optimization. I actually go into reviews of a lot of different programs and software that I actually include for you. So this is a great area to read through. This is the third and I think final upsell. There has to be an option that completely integrates with being able to handle and do all of the email capabilities. There are some free options. If you really want the gold standard of just doing it right, then there's options here that will integrate completely with your website, and then you'll never have to touch all of your email campaigns that are running. You could have somebody start a cleanse that's 21 days long in your office, and you put them into the system, and then they'll get an email every single day for 21 days, encouraging them, recipes, things like that. And it'll all happen automatically. All your reception has to do is put their email into the system, and then it goes for 21 days. You never have to think about it. Or maybe a campaign that's set up where new patients come in, and you put their email into the new patient campaign, and now instantly they'll get a welcome email. A couple days from now they'll get another email, just telling them about things that you want them to know, and you can space it. Maybe they'll get one a week for a few weeks so that they're caught up to date on things. They know about your upcoming lectures, and then maybe once a month they're getting your newsletter. But once it's set up, you never have to worry about it ever again. It's on autopilot. Everybody gets the same information and education, so it's all uniform. It's all done properly. So as we're going here, there's different payment processing things, options that you can have if you want memberships on your website, different plugins, and I include pretty much every single plugin that I've purchased. It's called a developer's license, so I can put it on your websites also. So instead of you spending $100 to $300 on each individual plugin, I've got them all for you. I even have a developer's license of one particular company where there's got to be at least 50 different plugins that are absolutely amazing that you can put into your website, and there's no additional charges for those. You can have a calendar on your website. You can have all sorts of different pictures and photo booths and just all sorts of amazing things that can all, you can have parts of your website look like a newspaper, parts of it, there's just so many fun options to choose from. And I've had 12 different websites that were programmed for me for you to choose from, and then I've got another 50 to 100 that I didn't have programmed, but there's other themes that you can use as well. And if you want things customized, obviously there's a little extra expense in doing that to have something else programmed, but that's always an option as well. Um, Office management information, some other different software that I use. I put vSilo Builder to actually build your silo for you. This last one here is a pretty unique piece of software that I put on there for you that protects you and your empire that you've built. Think about what I talked about when you're creating links back to your website. You can use this piece of software and block anybody else from being able to see all of those links. So they can't duplicate what you've already done, all that hard work that you've put in. They can't say, oh, well, I'm going to go to this website and that website and create the exact same links. They won't be able to know what you did. It's a way to protect yourself and your investment that you're putting into yourself. And there's much more available in the members section as well. So I'm just going to, last thing, I'm going to come over here to the members area just to show you around briefly. I actually have this video that shows you around as well on the website. You've got your free member section that you can click here and go. When you do sign up for a website, you'll have a form that you're going to have to fill out online, and this would be similar to a patient when they're coming to your office, and you can tailor this and they can fill out all their information online. There's the contract itself, the introduction and welcome for the websites. You'll have, actually, even before your website is live, I've got dozens of videos that show you how to do every last thing that you're ever going to want to be able to do with your website, all of the functions. So you could be learning on day one, and then in the next week or two, your website's live. You won't have to say, oh, well, how do I do this or how do I do that? You've already got professionally made videos to show you how to do everything. For people that buy the book, this whole section, you click on this link, and all of the videos are there for you. I've got tracking sheets for all your search engine work, all the different services that you can add on as far as search engine optimization and link building, all of the different training that you're going to need, practice management stuff, all the AK videos, the nutrition videos, and the 2 Facebook groups that I talked about. And this section obviously is going to just continue to grow. There's just one thing that I want to mention before people just start running to buy the book. I understand how things work in school and even professional world. A lot of students like to get a hold of material, copy it, and just give it to all their classmates. Now, they'll all go in on something. I did a lot of research, and it was a difficult decision to make, but I didn't want things just copied and given to everybody. So your investment is protected, and so is my investment of time and money. There is zero possibility of somebody being able to copy this material. And to do that, the only way that you can actually view it is if you have a PC. There was a very specific way of being able to do this. All of my computers, I've got 3 Macs running right now to be able to put this little presentation here together for you and bounce back and forth between different things. I'm a Mac guy. You can put parallels on there. Almost all situations for chiropractors' offices, the office software that runs them, there's might be 1 or 2 pieces of software, MacPractice, and maybe another 1 or 2 that will do that. But almost every chiropractic office management software runs on a PC. Almost everybody has access to a PC. So basically how it works is you'll get the PDF. You'll get your password, and you'll be the only person allowed to watch it. And you'll actually have a special viewer to be able to look at the PDF. And while that special viewer is open, you won't be able to print screen. You won't be able to use software like Camtasia or Screencast to copy you could easily, almost every video out there, you can copy the screen and the audio of any videos that are there. I didn't want that to be able to happen, and the viewer stops your computer from being able to do those things until you shut down the viewer, and you won't be able to view it anymore. You won't be able to download the videos, that type of a thing. But it's meant to protect me and my material, and it's also meant to protect your investment as well, because you don't necessarily want every single chiropractor to just be handed this information. You're going to spend money on it, and the people that do are going to be able to take advantage of it, and it won't be something that's just thrown out for free all over the internet, and then you're not any better off than the next guy. So it really, it was a hard decision. Nice to just give it a PDF, but you can email that to 1,000 people overnight. That just becomes too easy to spread. So just know that you have to have a PC to view it, both the videos on the web page and the PDF itself. But it's really a pretty simple option, because everybody at least has access to a PC somewhere along the line. But other than that, everything that I said, you can spend some more time on the website. Just a lot more information than I covered just tonight. And if you've got questions, thoughts, you can email me, you can call me. I'm more than happy to try to answer any questions that I can. I'm here to help you guys, both on the educational aspect, from online marketing and business, to the AK side and the nutrition side of the world, which is obviously a big passion for me as well. And another unique thing that will possibly be coming along the road here is, because I've created the studio to be able to do this and broadcast live all the way around the world. I could have 10 million people watching and it wouldn't matter. I've got several doctors that have expressed interest in producing a live feed broadcast, almost like a discussion panel group, from doctors from all over the world. I'll be bringing in people from all around the United States and then all around the world, that I'll actually Skype them in, and you'll actually see a lot of, maybe 6 different doctors from all over the world, and we'll take case studies. People calling in and saying, I've got a patient who's got this and this, what do I do? And you're going to get, I don't want to mention names yet, but some of the absolute best doctors in the entire world, that you'll be able to pick their brains a little bit. And I don't say that lightly. There are some incredible doctors that have expressed a lot of interest in wanting to support that, and it's going to be a big benefit to a lot of people. So very excited about that. Hopefully within the next 1 to 3 months, that'll really take a strong root forward, and that'll obviously evolve. That's the beginning of my idea, to get things started in that direction, and I'm sure it'll evolve. It'll almost become like an online TV station, and that will grow largely in the AK and nutrition side of it. But I'm game for opening it up to a lot of other things as well, and we'll have control over that. We don't have to pay expensive advertisers to advertise different things that keep us from being able to. So we can say whatever we want. It's our station, and we'll be able to disseminate the information that we want to. Some of it can be, free to our members. Some of it can be broadcast on the patient level from around the world, and get the information out that we want to get out, and not stuff that's just filtered by advertising dollars. So a lot of neat things in the funnel moving forward. So anyway, I really appreciate. It was just an incredible turnout. And I really appreciate you spending the time to, listen to this, see, what we can do to help you, and I look forward to helping you, like I said, in any ways that I can. So thank you so very, very much, and I will look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a great night.